Once you watch a lot of anime, you get used to all the tropes and can sort of predict what happens next. Whenever I watch a 12-episode action anime, I'm usually just not interested in the characters or whatever stupid goal they want to achieve, and the only thing keeping me going was the bitches. But even that's not enough to keep me invested anymore. They're all pretty much just the same character with different hair colors and the same personalities and jokes. So when scrolling through my anime list, there were only a few animes that really caught my eye, when suddenly, my dumbass friend sent me this weird picture he found. When I saw it, I found it sort of funny because it looked like the guy in the picture was constipated. So I decided to look it up because the art style looked pretty unique and I thought it was some sort of comedy manga. And what I found was a manga called Fire Punch. And let me just say, it wasn't too funny. Here's the summary. Fire Punch is a manga written and illustrated by Tatsuki Fujimoto, the same guy who went on to also make Chainsaw Man. It takes place in a world that has been completely covered in snow by the Ice Witch. This causes people to starve, freeze to death, and go insane. In this world, people have these superpowers that they refer to in the manga as blessings, like some can shoot fire, electricity, and stuff like that. Our protagonist is Agni. He has the ability to regenerate from virtually anything. He, with the help of his sister, cut off his arms multiple times a day to be able to feed the people of the village. When suddenly, one day, while Agni is out hunting, he spots a plane flying towards his village. When he gets back, he sees it's a bunch of soldiers being led by a man named Doma, who came for the village rations. However, what they find instead is Agni's arms in multiple houses. Before Agni gets a chance to explain anything, Doma uses his blessing, which is fire that doesn't go out until anything that he burnt is reduced to ash, to burn down the entire village, killing everybody in it. However, Agni's blessing keeps him from dying unless he just gives up and lets himself die. And right as he's about to do just that, his sister falls in front of him and tells him to live. This gives him the strength to not give up, and so for 8 years he endures the pain of being on fire until he eventually grows accustomed to the flames enough for him to get up and walk and exact his revenge on Doma. So as you can see, just from this first chapter, Agni had to suffer a lot. He's probably one of the characters who had to suffer the most in any manga I've seen. So I hope that answers your question, Val. Anyways, as this manga progresses, we find out more about Agni and see him grow from this guy whose only purpose is to kill Doma and die, to a guy who finds greater purpose by the people he interacts with and the things that he sees. We also find out more about this world and how the people in it operate. People in this world are pretty split. There are those who use and those who get used. The soldiers of Behem Dog, I don't know how to fucking say that, being the ones who use people in whatever ways they want, killing, torturing, and generally just being despicable humans, with the justification that since you're not a citizen of Behem Dog, then you are nothing more than firewood. There are a lot of prominent themes like self-worth, finding reasons to live, and of course, religion. We see that God is a huge motivator for most of the people in this world, and we see as Agni is often seen as a god to the people he helps, but a demon to the people who themselves act like demons. This is seen even more in chapter 24, where we see two sides. One side praising him, thinking that he's a god, and the other side fearing him, thinking that he's a demon. Now, I think I've said enough about that. If you want to find out more, I suggest you read it, unless you are maybe a person who frequents Twitter or Reddit a lot, and or got offended by the scene in Goblin Slayer. If so, then I suggest you stay away from this. You'll probably not like some of the things that they say or do. Now, moving on to the characters. DJ Low. There are many characters in this manga, but the three more prominent characters are Agni, Togata, and Judah. I found their characters to be pretty good. As I mentioned before, Agni grows a lot as a character throughout his journey and is cool to watch. Judah is a high-ranking soldier for the king of Behem Dog. I won't touch up too much on Judah because a lot of her story and motivations for the things that she does involve some pretty heavy spoilers. Third up is Togata. Togata is a woman who loves film, but all of her movies were destroyed, so she's just super bored until she gets the idea to make her own movie, using Agni as her hero. As she follows Agni around, we find out more about her, and a lot is revealed about this world through her. Like, for example, we find out that this manga takes place around the year 2200. Now, I have some mixed feelings on Togata. She's supposed to be the comic relief, and at first I thought she was going to be super annoying by spouting off random movie references for no reason, but I was pretty surprised that she didn't do that too much. She did it here and there when they first introduced her, but then she just stopped. I found some of the things that she did funny, like this train scene, and some other things that she did, but other times she was just super unfunny. She reminds me of how Harley Quinn was supposed to be the comic relief in the movie she was in, which was basically her saying random shit because she's crazy.
Love your perfume. What is that? The scent of death? She seems nice.
Like, ooh, I say penis and anus and bad words even though I'm a girl, and girls usually don't do that. Ugh. But fortunately she doesn't do that too often, so that's a good thing. Now, there are many other interesting side characters who show up that I won't explain so that I don't spoil it for you, so just read it. As I mentioned before, this manga is written and illustrated by Tatsuki Fujimoto, who later on went to make Chainsaw Man, so you'll probably be able to tell that they have pretty similar art styles. I really like how the art is done. It looks good and seems pretty unique. It has that messy sort of look that Chainsaw Man also has. Though while I was reading, I found some panels here and there that look kinda weird, but for the most part, it's nice stuff. Read Fire Punch. It's a good story and it's only like 83 chapters long, so it won't take you that long to finish reading it. It depends on how fast you read, but it's a good read with an interesting story, characters, and setting. There are a lot of twists and turns as well as moments that will just make you ask yourself what the fuck you're even reading, which is something I like because it's pretty different. So read it, or this nigga appears in your bed at 3 AM. Peace, peace.
Got me a